10 games in a row. Brock looking for another W against the Cowboys. San Fran's QB, though, saying he's not defined by wins and losses like Jimmy Jerry. Take a listen.
I don't look at football like it's literally everything. It's do or die or anything like that. It's a game, and it's my job for sure, and I take it very seriously. But at the end of the day, I know that I'm not defined by, the wins or losses as a person. Like, that's not who I am. I'm not a quarterback. I wasn't born to be a quarterback and play football, and that's it. Like, I have a life and everything like that, and I remember that. But at the same time, man, I'm a competitor. I love to compete. I want to win at all costs, and so I've been enjoying that as well.
No, I like that answer, to be honest with you. Mark Schlereth this year, Super Bowl champion. Nick, does Purdy need this win to be minted as the 49ers quarterback?
No, I don't think there's anything he could do short of winning the Super Bowl to where he's minted as the quarterback. I don't think we have a lot of evidence that Brock Purdy is a good NFL starting quarterback. He's a great story. He's overachieved. He also, and I know you guys hate when I do this, is a 6'1" 3-star who was a 7th-round pick. And now maybe it is the Tony Romo story all over again. Or maybe he simply is doing a slightly better job than Jimmy Garoppolo did for a team that has never had great quarterback play, since Shanahan's been there, yet has always found a way, nearly always found a way to win. And there are certain things, Stink, that I worry for Brock might happen, like teams, might have a subscription to Next Gen Stats like I do, and look at a chart like this one that I'm about to show you and be like, green is good, yellow's okay, red's bad. Does he have a tendency on where he likes to throw the ball, fellas? Is that maybe something that at some point a team is going to try to pick on? Now, this is in the regular season, and it should be noted in the Seahawks game, he had a few passes over to the right side of the field, but the Seahawks defense was leaky all year long, playing a half dozen rookies on that side of the ball. And so, listen, I know we want to make this stuff about the quarterback. I think we are getting a true case study in how quarterback independent this team is, that Jimmy bleeping Garoppolo took them to 2 conference championship games in the Super Bowl with a 74 passer rating, and now their 3rd-string 7th-round pick has them undefeated. So if I were the Niners, if Purdy's your starter next year, I think you're still looking for an upgrade constantly.
I think from the standpoint of, is he going to be minted, there's nothing he can do that mints him. Like, he will always be in competition until he's not in a competition. Going into the organization next year, or going into the season next year, whether he gets to the conference championship, whether he wins or loses this game, whether he gets to the Super Bowl, there will be a competition. Maybe it'll be he and Trey Lance, whatever.
If he wins the Super Bowl, no competition?
Well, I mean, he'll be the incumbent. Right. But do I think that automatically they sit there and go, oh my gosh, this guy is the next Joe Montana or whatever? No, I think that remains to be seen.
Super Bowl.
It doesn't, like, winning the Super Bowl.
I don't know if we can win the Super Bowl with this guy.
Well, the bottom line is winning a Super Bowl is a team event.
Thank you.
You've got to have a great team to win a Super Bowl. Now, your quarterback has to play well, but, you'd like your quarterback to play well. But there's been several quarterbacks. I actually played with one who didn't play well. Elway didn't play well in Super Bowl 32, and we won that game.
And who was the quarterback in the first Super Bowl you won with Washington?
Mark Rypien. But
Mark Rypien? He was excellent in the game. Yeah. No. He was excellent in the game. But going into that game, people didn't think he was one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. They loved your guys' team.
That season, he had a great season. But you're right. I mean, that's why, I love Trent Dilfer. He's a buddy of mine. But nobody looks at Trent Dilfer go, like, he led the Baltimore Ravens. Peyton Manning, when they won the Super Bowl, 2015 Super Bowl for the Denver Broncos, he had a horrible season. He had 9 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. Yeah, something crazy like that. So it's a team, to me, it's a team award. So Brock Purdy is not automatically anointed next year's starter. He's been exceptional. He took some chances in that first half. That game could have gotten away from San Francisco because he made some throws that legitimately should have been picked off. He made some throws that were very questionable. Now, in the second half, he was exceptional. But in that first half, and here's the thing, we haven't seen him go through that to where he's made a bunch of mistakes. How he's responded to those things, that has yet to be seen.
Yeah, look, I do tend to agree with them Wilds. Like if he wins tomorrow, or that's great, but last year they were a step further with Jimmy Garoppolo. They got to the NFC title game. They got to a Super Bowl with Jimmy G. So Nick Foles looked great for a whole playoff and
Nick
won
Foles,
the Super Bowl.
Right.
That's Joe Flacco.
The Nick Foles example,
none of them were
Brew,
franchise
and then
quarterbacks.
I give right back to you, is a really good example because unlike Peyton with the Broncos, when the defense was the driving force when they won the Super Bowl, Nick Foles was sensational.
Right.
That entire playoff run, particularly in the
And
Super
beat
Bowl,
Brady in the Super Bowl.
and did not go into the and they gave the job right back to Carson Wentz. You know what I mean? They were like, okay, this is good. We're glad we did it, but that's our guy moving forward. Now he ended up losing the job eventually, but it's so I know it's going to sound silly.
Kurt Warner was on the greatest show on turf. There was a 4-year span where he was unbelievable. What happened when he went to the Giants? He ended up eventually getting benched for Eli Manning. Then he went to Arizona, and what happened?
Resurrected.
It was, well, he went to Arizona. At first, he was on the bench, and he was rotating with Matt Leinart.
Yep.
Eventually, Matt Leinart, had some struggles. Kurt Warner goes in. The next thing you know, he solidifies a Hall of Fame career in those years in Arizona. But there was some time in between where he was, it was questioned.
Okay.
Yeah, I do think right now you go in with Trey Lance and Brock as your Brock ahead of him.
Sure.
But it's a competition. And even if he gets to the Super Bowl but loses, that's probably the case.
Can I tell you something that hurts my feelings a little bit? I feel like we're coming to the end of the road on our
With
Jimmy
Iowa
G
Mount?
storylines.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just feel like
look, Jimmy G will be somewhere next
Yeah,
year.
without
Play
7
well
All-Pros on
and
his
win,
team and be totally irrelevant.
just like he did in San Francisco.
We
I
might
will
be
say
done.
this, though. Jimmy G is beautiful.
Yeah, that's what exactly.
He is gorgeous.
I know that.
Yeah.
We discussed that at
You
length.
mean he throws a nice?
No, I'm talking about stunning. Like
Well, we
come
collectively-
off the field with his helmet. Like, how can your hair not even be messed up? He just had a helmet on. He's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, that's
I'm just letting you know.
There.
I'm just letting you know.
I know.
He's going to land on his feet.
While we collectively question the amount
land
of
on his
kicks.
feet.
Guys, we got to move on. Hard to question Maher's accuracy. 6 for 6. Brett Money Maher reportedly went 6 for 6 in field goals. Zeke's a believer. Take a listen.
I just let them know that, we got trust in him, we got faith in him, and I mean, that's our brother. We're not going to turn our back on this. Last week we didn't really need him, but this week we probably will. So get together.
We put a little fire under him too. Don't be fooled. Right?
That's good. Where does Zeke trust him to you?
I would say this first, Mark. If Zeke said that to him, right, get your stuff together, like jokingly, I'm sure he said it jokingly, but I think that probably terrified the kicker, terrified Maher. Would you agree with that? Like he knows he's joking, but it's like, man, I can't be out here messing around. So I think that I don't trust Maher. I don't know whether to trust him, but what will say is this: I would put Vizcaino, the backup they just brought in, on the active roster.
I love it.
And if he misses the first, routine field goal,
Extra point.
whether it's a field goal, they just cut. No,
They just-
no. Look, they trust him. I get it. He might have just had a bad day, or he might be back mentally. But send him out there. The first routine kick he misses, a 42-yard field goal or an extra point, you're done. And Vizcaino take the field.
I like that idea.
Do you think
Absolutely.
it's sustained? Do you think it's practical to have 2 of your game day 46 be kickers?
There's zero chance of carrying 2 game day kickers.
So they brought in